Welcome to Sales Chaos. My name is Dan Waldschmidt. I am a runner. I'm a sales consultant, speaker, crazy man. This is my partner, Todd Schnick.
Todd Schnick, intrepid marketing strategist, business strategist. Crazy dude with outrageous vision. Can I steal your bio this time?
You can, yes, you can steal it.
Speaker, writer, distance runner as well.
Distance runner as well. And I noticed you updated on your website what you had done this year, which one of the things included SalesChaosTV.
SalesChaosTV.
So if you know the format already, if you've watched a few videos, you know we take unconventional positions on what makes business successful. And we set the clock, and when the clock chimes, we shut up.
Yes.
So we are going to jump into a topic today that if you're kicking off 2012, you're thinking a lot about how you're going to get more business this year, how you're going to be more successful. And you're naturally going to think, I'm going to sell more stuff, which is not bad.
Not a bad thing, no.
Especially if you're in the marketing business.
That's true.
That's what you want to do.
That's true.
Let's talk CRM then.
CRM.
Yeah.
What does CRM stand for?
Customer Relationship Management.
See, I don't think most people know what the hell it means, which is why I think there's an issue with it.
I think it means pain and agony.
Well, I think a lot of people think a CRM is pain and agony, which I think therein lies the problem.
That's right.
You know, I deal with organizations that spend. I have a client who is about to drop 6 figures on this extraordinarily complicated CRM system with all the bells and whistles and customized and all that. And I think that's an absolute abomination waste of.
Okay, so let's break it down. Let's break it down. Waste of time. Millions of dollars, lots of salespeople, this big CRM system. Why does CRM just make us feel icky? I mean, that's a nice way of saying it. That, you know.
For me, Dan, the reason that I hate CRMs is I think the human beings you're trying to sell to become names in a database, and so you're treating them as such.
Yeah.
You know, I think the bigger problem, Dan, maybe you can shed some different experience on this, is that most salespeople are forced to use a CRM system.
Yes.
One that
Yeah.
maybe they're not really comfortable with or they don't like. And so it becomes a chore. It becomes a task. Now, I'm not advocating that you shouldn't use a CRM system. I have a CRM system, and I love it. But I chose one that's very simple, very easy to use. I use High-Rise by 37 Signals. But I think the problem is that your sales manager and the VP of sales requires all these charts and graphs and numbers and 3-ring binder volumes full of just stats and data. Well, you get that from the CRM stats. And so I think a salesperson spends most of their time keying in this crap into this database instead of actually interacting with human beings.
I am not a fan of CRM too, let the record note. And working with a lot of organizations all over the world, one of the first questions out of my mouth when I'm doing a diagnostic is, what are you using to track business? And it's some ERP system, some sort of CRM system. Now, let's break down the history of CRM. We didn't have CRM, I'll say 10 years ago. Does that feel about right? 15 years ago?
Sounds about right to me.
What we had was an address book, right? We had Outlook.
Black book.
Outlook. Well, yeah, that's where it started. We had a little black book. Then we had.
I think that's where it started. I hated Outlook, and so I think that poisoned CRMs for me. But anyway,
but we had.
You were saying.
But then we had things that improved on Outlook. Act.
Yep.
Goldmine. Stuff like this. What happened was we wanted more data from an enterprise level at the desktop level, and so we started adding all these additional fields. And Salesforce, of course, made $1 billion plus. They're quite successful, obviously. Franchise off of delivering that data in the cloud. Everywhere you go, you'll log on, and there's your information. Nothing wrong with it. It's brilliant for running big businesses. I wrote a very popular white paper in 2011, almost exactly a year ago, so it's outdated. Don't look it up. But I dissected the top 18 CRMs on the platform. So I'm speaking with somewhat of experience here. The problem is, as you mentioned, we spend more of our time managing the data for somebody else than we do using it to close businesses.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think salespeople are forced to do this because they have to spit out a report to their boss.
That's right.
Instead of using it as a vehicle to advance the opportunity down the field.
So here's some options for you. One, find something. If you have the option of using something that you can choose. You chose High-Rise. I use something called Connected HQ. ConnectedHQ.com. It's called Connected. I just say Connected HQ because that's where you find it on the web. actually was bought by LinkedIn about 2 months ago, and it's now free for anyone to use. But the reason why I like Connected is it automatically doesn't try to be a CRM. It's not a CRM. It's a better address book. So it pulls in.
That's all High-Rise is.
Yeah, it pulls in everybody I know from LinkedIn into my database. Pulls everybody I know from Twitter, everybody from Facebook, from Evernote, from any Google Contacts, Google Calendar. It brings them all into this one place. There's a mobile app, there's a web app, and it gives me all this intelligence. That's what I want. And I have about 40,000 people that are in Connected right now, managing them. And I don't want someone to tell me what the deal flow is and pipeline charts. And I'm in
what stage are you in? Are you in close? And
we're in the people business. And people,
that's the problem with it.
Well, even like your business partner, you were saying, flew back from the island somewhere.
Yeah, he was down in the Caymans.
And gets stuck and is delayed now for X amount of time and completely blowing up your business schedule. That's real life. And what happens is, a lot of times, now you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so you need something. You need something. So you need some way to track the people you know. One, get that thing. High-Rise, Connected HQ are great ones. If you're on the site right now and just reading about social experiences, there's a dozen other sites that you'll find listed here that will tell you ways to track relationships better. One is find something to track, because there's no excuse for not following up or not following through. That's just inexcusable. And I know we both stand for that. Number two, change your KPIs. What you said this, but you just didn't say that the whole key performance indicator thing is. We look for how many people did you call, how many people did you email, how many presentations did you do, how many deals did you close, and those are all great key performance indicators, because on some level, no activity means your salesperson's dead, right? Or maybe it just means they need to do it a different way.
Yeah. So my big problem with CRMs is that every human being you're interacting with is different.
Oh yeah.
And they don't always fit in the exact template of a CRM package. So that's my biggest problem, and I think that's a big stressor for a sales rep is that they have 10 prospects. They're all different, and they don't fit perfectly into the CRM. And the CRM is going to spit out some automated report saying, "Yep, you're overdue on having this thing closed." When there could be, as you said, life happening. That's the real explanation as to why this thing isn't closing yet. But your CRM doesn't necessarily account for life. And I don't know. I just my biggest issue. We got 1 minute to go, Dan. My biggest issue with CRMs is that I think salespeople are forced into doing it. One, two, they're using a product they don't like.
That's true.
And so I mean, there's
something they don't want to do using tools they don't want to use.
Well, you talk to any sales consultant. He's got a CRM that he likes, right? And when a client says, "I'm using another one," he's like, "Oh, that's awful. It's awful. You need to use this one." Well, it's no difference. It's a database.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to find something that works for you that you like. That actually, I enjoy strategizing my to-dos and action items on my system. I mean, but I have fun with it. But I like to do it, and it was a tool that I selected. So I don't know.
Yeah. So you look, if you're a manager watching this, you need some way to manage your people, but sometimes forcing them to put in how many calls they made into a CRM system is not the best way. Maybe you put into your key performance indicators a measure asking for how many amazing customer experiences did we have. That's what we want to measure. We don't want to measure how many calls you had. We want to measure how many delightful, amazing customers we had. Now, we're out of time, but I imagine you and I can talk about this more.
I suspect we will.
I suspect we will. The matter is not solved.
Not solved.
We've solved it enough for today, though.
All right. That wraps this episode of Sales Chaos TV. I'm Todd Schneck on behalf of Dan Walshman. We'll see you next time.